Alright, we got a problem. Spent the entire night reassembling the apron, and guess what? The sump cover doesn't fit. It's standing off and it's unable to screw down. It looks like it's about, I don't know, 3/16, quarter of an inch. So the frustration is mounting at this point. What I need to do is walk away, sleep on it, and figure it out the next day. What happened was the clutch basket, those discs, one must have come forward and turned a little bit, and it just wasn't allowing the clutch assembly to to lock. But utterly smooth and beauteous. To seal the apron, I used some black Permatex. Put it on both sides of the casting and the sump cover, put the gasket in the middle, and bolted it down. Then I put a bead on the bottom to ensure that this thing wasn't going to leak, because the last thing I needed to happen was to install it and have a leak afterwards. Okay, now that the apron is back together, it's time to move on to reassembling the feed reversing lever, which thankfully went back without any issues. Now it's time to go on to the gearbox. So I'm putting the shaft through, and I have it resting. It's now resting on this bearing and this bearing, and you can see, it spins freely. In fact, it spins very freely. As soon as it mates with that journal in there, push in even just a little, and it's it's difficult to turn it by hand. I mean, I can, and I even pulled the bearing out and rested it on this shoulder and tapped it in so it would be, perfectly in line as it pressed in. So I don't know what to do. What I did to remedy the problem was to get a piece of stock and wrap it with some emery cloth. I polished the inner diameter of the bearing boss until the bearing fit in a little bit easier. Then I did the same thing on either end with the bronze bushings. So the shaft still had a little tiny bit of drag to it, but nothing like when I began. So we're going to call this done. Had to shoot a video for this. So I put the gearbox together and forgot to put this bearing in, and you can see this bearing has to be in before this shaft. Had to take it apart and do it again. Frustration is mounting. So I get it all together and I look, and what's missing? Woodruff key. Ugh, ground to a halt again. I'm looking all over the place, and I decide, did I use my ultrasonic cleaner? I think I did. Let me run a magnet in there. Dude, every missing piece was recovered. There's the key, there's some screw, here's my lock screw, and here are the two pins. Well, in fact, there's a bunch of pins. And here's all the pins. I used the roll pin, that's for the gearbox. I used the roll pin, which is fine, but victory! Later on that day, UPS arrived with the new underdrive bearings. I ordered these from Emerson Bearing, and they're in Massachusetts. You simply give them a call, tell them the bearing number that you need, they take your credit card right there, and a couple days later, they show up at your door. We got the new bearings in the underdrive. Listen how quiet. Precisely, you don't hear nothing. So I got a prankster here helping me. So here we go. We're gonna get this guy mounted. We got the apron done, and the gearbox is next. Here's my cross slider. Got from Ted. Gotta fix it up, obviously. Clean it up. And look at this, man. New old stock. Listen to the detent. Beautiful, man. Totally beautiful. Brand new. I got a new set of black tags for the machine. So to install them, I position them to where they're going to go and used a little bit of tape to pre-drill the holes, as you can see here. After pre-drilling, we run a tap through them. You can see the holes are finished there. Countersunk the paint. Got myself a box of small screws from McMaster Carr, and we attached them. I'm really happy with the black tags. I think they complete the look of the machine and make it look like it just rolled off the factory floor. You hear that clunking down there? Something's rattling actually in the desk. Other than that, this thing is dead silent. And got a little tick of the belt, which is normal, but there's just something clunking around down in this desk. I gotta find it. It would help if I bolted the motor down. I just bolted it down and tightened it down. It was actually loose and kind of flapping around, but I think it remedied most of the noise. I mean, it's a lathe, right? I guess it makes some kind of noise. Alright, that's back gear. We need to run this guy in reverse. Alright, I just laid a bead of the extreme pressure lube. I'm just turning this guy here. I don't have the VFD set up yet, so gotta do it manually. You could hear it just slathering around. Yeah. It's making more noise because it's just crackling. The grease, it's whipping all out, but the back gears sound pretty good and healthy. That'll work in and all that crackling will go away. So this is back gear with no side gears going. You know, you're always going to get that very slight clunkiness, and it's just the design. You know, you have gears that are like slamming. These gears are going this way, and it's causing these two to slam against each other, and that's causing those two to slam. So it's a constant chatter just by the way of the design, the opposing gears. But doesn't mean we can't try to dial it in and get it quiet. Well, it's no joke that these side gears are awfully noisy. The idler gear that sits on the banjo has a lot of lateral movement, which means the bushing is worn. So it could actually rock side to side. That creates a lot of clanging and vibration. So the one on the bottom is pretty much your main culprit. And then the 40-tooth gear above it that sits on the reversing tumbler, that too, I think needs a replacement. Clean floors where stains and spooge used to be. There's my mat. The hard hinge is in place now. Got my thing back. Got the heavy 10. Got the pink vise. Everything is clean. Look at all the room now. Everything is nice and pushed back. I can walk through here. All this space. The floor is, you can eat off the floor. Every person should have a good mop. That's the tip of the day.